If you'll come with me, you'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too.
So what I used was this old man, the bald old man wig, and I constructed it into the Pennywise wig by taking a chunk out of the back of it. So the back of it is really scruffy and it's kind of all over the place. So I just cut a chunk of the back out of the wig, and what I use that for is to create the widow's peak, because we know Pennywise does have a widow's peak. So when you cut it out the back, you won't even notice that it's gone because the hair is so, it's kind of nappy. But I took it out of the back to create the widow's peak. I took it out the back to create the widow's peak, and what I used to glue the widow's peak on was some liquid latex, which is what you'll see me using throughout the rest of the video. And liquid latex acts as an adhesive, so you can use that since the top of the bald old man wig is latex. You want to use something that's going to stick to latex, but you can use whatever works best for you. So after I got the widow's peak formed, we all know that Pennywise does have spiked hair. It's kind of spiked upward. So what I used to spike the hair was just some spiking gel, which is the Got2b gel. You can use any kind of spiking gel that you have, any kind of spray, anything that'll hold it up. You can even use like the fabric adhesive. I had some of that too, but I just used the Got2b gel because it was a little bit easier and it dried pretty quickly and it spiked up with no issues. It was so easy to do this part. The actual wig was, the whole thing was easy. But after that, to get rid of the grayness, because we know Pennywise has a red orange hair, kind of like what I have now. If you're thinking that I used my hair from the last video to make this wig, I did not. Nope. Can't do that. But what I used was some orange hairspray, and I just sprayed it all over the wig, and it gave me the exact thing that you're seeing down below. It was really easy. I do hate that this clip got deleted because this was my favorite part about the whole costume. But if you're looking into making the wig yourself, the wig was only, I think it was like 20 bucks. The hairspray was like $3. Spiking gel, I don't know because I've had it for a while. Or you can just purchase a wig that looks similar to Pennywise wig. But again, some of them were expensive, and then there weren't a lot of good replicas of it, but to each his own. Alright, so I decided to record the rest of the video as a voiceover just because it's a little bit easier, but what you see me doing here is just using a glue stick to glue my eyebrows down so that way they are all intact in one and not all over the place when I paint my face white. And then what I'm doing next is just putting the ball cap on, and the ball cap does come in different shades. You have a beige shade, which is the one that I have, and then it does also come in a brown shade for darker skin, but I figured the whole head is going to be white, so it really wouldn't matter. So I just went with this one, and then I'm just going to cut the excess pieces off that I really don't need, like around the back and around the ear and other places. I then began to add cotton balls underneath the ball cap, and this is to create his elongated forehead because his head is really big. But you can use anything like cotton strips, cotton pads, cotton balls, tissue, whatever works for you. And then right here I'm just using lace glue because I didn't really want to buy spirit gum. Lace glue worked just as fine. So just use whatever adhesive works for you. Just be very careful putting it on your skin, especially around your edges for females. And then I'm just gluing it down right here, and then right here I'm also adding some liquid latex, and this is to kind of hide that line of demarcation from the ball cap. This is where I began to mess up at by putting orange color corrector and foundation on my brows to conceal them, but Of course, you're going to be painting your face white, so you definitely don't want to do this because the face paint is going to pick all that up. But you do want to do what I'm doing right here, which is setting the eyebrows with some setting powder. And then after that, I began to take tiny pieces of, well, not really tiny. I started taking pieces of tissue that I tore up, and I used liquid latex to add it onto the top of that ball cap. And this is just to kind of create the forehead that he has, which is kind of hard to explain, but it's kind of all wrinkly and crinkly. So this is going to help create that and as well conceal the nudeness of that bald old man cap. Now here I'm using white clown paint to paint my face white. This is a fun part, haha, not really. But this paint takes an extremely long time to dry, so I would recommend using face paint. I'm not sure what the difference between clown paint and face paint is. It seems like the same thing to me, but if you do see white face paint, I would just use that instead because I know for a fact face paint dries up quicker than this. This stuff took forever to dry on my face. Now right here is where I began to mess up. As you can see, that foundation was coming all through that white face paint. Oh my god, I was like, why did I do that? That was not the smartest thing to do, but it took layers on top of layers on top of layers of more clown paint to get rid of that. And again, it never dries. Like I literally just touched the wig a few minutes ago and it was still wet, and this was like 2 days ago, but it never dried, so it took me forever to get rid of that foundation overlay. So I'm taking some white setting powder and I'm just setting my face to help the paint dry because it took forever. And y'all, it began to be 12 and 1 o'clock at night and I was just over it. So I was thinking of anything that I could do to get rid of that foundation and to just make this paint dry so that I can move on to the next step. So just don't use clown paint. I don't know. Just whenever you do it, just make sure you have enough time because this is very time consuming. So right here I am just using some red cream. I don't remember the exact name of this product, but it was like a red cream kind of makeup. I'll put everything below in the description box though. But I'm using this to just create the red clown nose that we all know and love. And as you can see, it's kind of pinkish. I don't know, but that paint was just taking forever, so it was kind of throwing everything off. So at this point, I'm just trying to hurry up and get the tutorial done because I'm tired, and the paint would just never dry. And now I am just using an old eyeshadow palette that I have sitting to the side, and I'm just taking some gray eyeshadow, and I'm kind of creating the dark space around his eyes, and then I go over the gray with some black. And this is just to kind of give him that evil look that we all know about Pennywise. And I begin to then draw on his very thin brows. And I'm just using the angled brush to do that. And I'm using a silver, well, it's more like a gray shadow to add that on. And then I'm doing the other side. As y'all can see, my brows were not sisters. They were not twins. They were cousins, like twice removed cousins. So I had to use some of the white clown paint to kind of lift that left brow up because it was down so low, and everything was just kind of, I was just kind of over at this point because my face wasn't drying, so it wasn't coming out how I wanted it to be. So I was just moving on to the next step as fast as I could, and right now I'm just using some old cheap red lipstick that I have. I didn't really want to mess up my good products for this look, so I'm just using things that I've had laying around, and I'm just using some red lipstick to create his red clown lips. To create the extension from his lips, I'm just using some red lip gloss. I was kind of back and forth between the lipstick, the lip gloss, and the red cream because everything was coming out to be a pink shade because that white paint wasn't drying. So just use whatever that you have that's red that comes out to be a true red. But to make it easier, just make sure your face paint is dry. And on that second line, it was just a hot mess, y'all. It was a it was a hot mess, so I had to kind of go back over that with some of the white clown paint. So the look is almost complete. The only thing you have to do after this is create the red line that goes through his eyes up towards his forehead, and just get creative and customize your costume and make it to your liking. And I would definitely recommend the yellow contacts, which I did have, but as you can tell, my eyes were super irritated throughout the whole video, so I could not keep those contacts in my eyes. And Pennywise also does have two big front teeth. I would definitely recommend getting the front teeth to kind of create the look and make it look as Pennywise as possible. But guys, this was very time consuming, and if you made it this far, shout out to you. But this is what I came up with. This is my 2017 It Pennywise tutorial look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So y'all know I have 0 cents, so of course I had to go out to the streets of Atlanta and act a fool. And y'all will not believe who I ran into at Walgreens and scared the crap out of. I mean, dude literally almost fell. Homeboy, no, he's too grown for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and follow me on all of my social media.